So oily. I like that kind of explanation.
Use kids is hard to lie. Here comes a guy.
Oh, disclaimer?
Disclaimer, that's it.
Watch this.
Even though all these things might be totally
Yeah,
on PC
right.
now, doesn't mean they never
Yeah.
existed, and we should learn from it.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is that Popeye's voice, he's using the same method used for used for the throat singing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he uses one of those things.
But no, it's that what they do with that throat singing.
Okay.
He's like,
He just had one of the worst vocal fries.
like that kind of fry,
Yeah.
or yeah, the false folds, the throat singing. He uses the same technique to get that voice. And that's pretty cool.
Went on the trouble.
Popeye the Sailor is the rough and tough seaman with a heart of gold, created in 1929 by cartoonist Elsie Chris the Seeger. Unlike most of the characters we've explored in this series, Popeye didn't start his life in the animated media, but in newspaper comic strips. And while our cartoon origin stories usually begin with a fight for fame and success, this one begins with pure chance. Popeye was essentially a happy accident, an intended one-off character who gained unanticipated popularity in comics, leading to an insurmountable success in cartoon shorts, rivaling even the likes of Mickey Mouse. Initially produced by the Fleischer Studios and Paramount Pictures between the 1930s and 1950s, Popeye cartoons would later cross into the television era under the likes of Hanna-Barbera and Gene Deitch. Unfortunately, Popeye found himself victim of the modern times, with various reboots and reimaginings, each more watered down than the last, struggling to uphold his popularity throughout the decades. In 2019, Popeye turns 90 years old, and to celebrate, I will trace his entire evolution from 1929 to now. To do so, we will look at the character's history from comic to screen, and the changes in his design, personality, and stylistic approach prevalent across a near century of strips, shorts, television series, and feature films. In this edition of Cartoon Evolution. Thimble Theatre by E.C. Seeger began its run in the New York Journal on December 19, 1919, soon finding itself syndicated in numerous newspapers by the King Features Syndicate. Initially, the comic took a traditional form, as a gag-a-day or laugh-a-day strip. Continuity and serialized adventures certainly weren't the norm. However, Thimble Theatre featured a recurring cast of characters: Harold Hamgravy, his fiancée Olive Oil, and her brother Castor Oil. Over time, the strips grew larger, and in 1925, the Sunday features transitioned into colour. Seeger, who is often considered one of the most groundbreaking and influential cartoonists of all time, used these extended strips to evolve his stories from simple gag pieces to
very nice colors,
adventures, making the Thimble Theatre one
printing
of the
of the
first
time.
strips to tell serialised stories. These stories further fleshed out its characters as they were sent off on crazy exploits and questionable entrepreneurial ventures. Thimble Theatre wasn't overly popular in its first decade, only being printed in 12 newspapers nationally. However, in January of 1929, something was about to shake up the strip forever. In one story beginning in September of 1928, Hamgravy and the Oil set off towards Dice Island, a faraway locale home to a shady casino at which they planned to swindle millions with the help of a lucky bird or wiffle hen. The team buy themselves a boat and plan to hire the first sailor they come across to captain it. In the January 17, 1929 strip, they meet a crotchety, no-nonsense, one-eyed, toothless sailor who goes by the name Popeye and is willing to head the expedition for a small fee. Seeger noted that Popeye merely happened into his strip. He wasn't intended as anything but a simple plot device designed to get the characters from A to B. However, over the course of the story,
This may look like a holiday shopping
Oh